What's up, everybody? Flashwing here. Alright, so I got a good cerebral topic for you guys tonight. Close the hatch. There's been a lot of movies lately, especially, that have been exploring the concepts of artificial intelligence, as well as like intelligence transferred to some type of digital format, like being able to download your brain, essentially. There are a couple of movies that I saw recently that I thought were fantastic. The first one is called Ex Machina, and if you're not familiar with Ex Machina, you can wander over to Zone Television, and my buddy ZT over there did a pretty good, what I would call a good highbrow review of Ex Machina. What that movie really stirs in terms of an ethical question is, you know, all of these aspects about personhood and what it means to be a person. What does it mean to be sentient? What does it mean to be conscious? And I believe these are really important questions, which sadly will not be answered or even attempted to be answered until after the technology has already taken hold. And that's kind of the nature of technology today, that when there is a type of technology that brings about a lot of ethical questions or ethical concerns, typically the technology significantly outpaces the ethics. You know, the technology comes first, and I would argue that creating artificial intelligence is probably the easier thing to do, because it's simply a case of solving a problem. But when it comes to ethics, the lines get a lot more blurry, because you have to, if you kind of walk through the process of artificial intelligence, especially from the perspective of facing an artificial intelligence that is almost unmistakable from a real human being, spontaneous emotions, spontaneous answers, and growth, and you know, self-improvement and things like that, then at some point, invariably, someone is going to ask the question: is this artificial intelligence? Is this life? Is this a person? And we're going to have to really face those questions. And I think that's what makes it both a frightening and a scary experience, because it really forces us to take a look at the things in life that are some of the most fundamental questions that all of us have, such as, you know, who am I? What makes me a person? What makes me real? Why am I here? Why was I created? What's my purpose? And it's difficult, because we really can't even answer those questions with ourselves. I mean, for example, if you started to say, okay, you know, let's assume the technology is so advanced that you now have an artificial intelligence that responds and interacts with you just like a real human being. You start to say, well, it's not a person because it's not flesh and blood. Okay, well, but you know, what we have animals that don't necessarily have those rights or the cognitive abilities of people. And you say, okay, well, let's say, what if it's not biological? Okay, well, machines can't create works of art. They can't create music. They can't write poetry. Okay, well, what if they could? What if they could create spontaneous works of art? I mean, even art itself is difficult to define in terms of what is and isn't art. It's all a form of expression. And of course, the other argument is, well, the actions and the emotions of the machine are simulated. It's like, but how do we know that our actions are simulated? I mean, to a certain extent, we're biological machines ourselves. We're just analog. We're not digital. But we still operate in a machine-like fashion in terms of our biology. And so it really starts to blur the lines between what is and what we consider to be a person. But once that technology gains traction, there most definitely would be a huge market for companionship. You know, if you were able to have an artificial life form, we'll just say, which sounds, looks, and acts just like a normal human being, but is programmed with unconditional love and admiration, that doesn't lie or cheat, doesn't deceive you, won't hurt you, that seems to be a pretty appealing thing. There was another movie that I would suggest, especially if you have Netflix, because that's where I saw it, called Advantageous. I believe that's the name of the movie. But essentially about a mother who works for a company that is on the verge of launching technology where they can basically transfer consciousness from one body to another. But of course, there's always a catch, and I don't want to ruin the plot for you. But it really brings into question, you know, what is consciousness, and what does it mean? What does it mean to be you? If you create an artificial copy of yourself that has all of your memories and is essentially you, is it really you, or is it someone else? You know, these are all, I find them to be really interesting, probably because there's really not a good solid answer. So I'd be interested in your thoughts. You know, check out these movies. If you really like thought-provoking movies, Ex Machina is definitely a good one to consider. And I liked Advantageous, although Advantageous was a lot slower. There's not really any action, so it is kind of a slower movie, and some people may find it a little boring. Hope you guys enjoyed the topic. We're really interested to hear your thoughts. And as always, guys, thank you very much for your time. I've been responding to comments on other videos that have been nothing short of epic. Some of the stories of inspiration that you guys have gotten from some of the Month of Insanity videos and what you've done with it, it's truly been amazing, and it's very humbling. And what I mean by that is it just, I really feel like YouTube is a privilege. I don't feel that everybody should listen to me, or that, you know, somehow I'm deserving of an audience. I really feel like it's a privilege to be able to bring content and ideas and sometimes, you know, even inspiration to those of you who choose to spend your time with me. Every time I see some of these really incredible stories, it is really humbling, and you guys do some amazing things out there. I just simply want to try and provide that push that so many of us, including myself, need from time to time. You know, I'm going through my own challenges. I'm pursuing my own goals right now, and I have people behind me that are providing encouragement and advice. You know, very little in our lives is ever truly done alone. You need the ambition. You know, at the end of the day, it's you and you alone who decides to get up and get out of bed and to go and do it, and we all deserve credit for that. But it really does take sometimes a good support system to make some of that stuff really come to fruition. So I just want to say thank you, and just how incredibly amazing it is that I've been able to interact and get to know some of you out there. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great week or weekend, and we will definitely see you out there, especially if you're on two wheels. And take care, guys. We'll talk to you later.